Let's look at the sponsors for tonight's Hazmat Guys Roundtable. Hazmat 101 Consultants. Hazmat 101 Consultants and their instructors can provide quality consulting and virtual in-person hazardous materials training for your agency. Owner and lead instructor Bob Cascignano is also available for lecturing at your fire or hazmat conference and has in fact done many speaking engagements across the country. Visit their website at www.hazmatconsultants.com or email Bob Cascignano at bob@hazmat101consultants.com. For over 20 years, K&R Plaques have had the pleasure of helping clients choose awards for the people they want to honor. Their state-of-the-art equipment allows clients to design, customize, and personalize the awards they choose for that special somebody. With one of the largest selections of plaques, awards, trophies, and clothing apparel, they can deliver quality products to satisfy any customer's needs. No order is too big or too small. Visit their website at www.knrplaques.com or email them at sales@knrplaques.com. Intercontinental Fire Training Academy is an education institution that has 3 branches of education: hazmat, technical rescue, and fire. They offer approved curriculum for you or your agency. Examples of a few of their classes are HazWhopper, rope rescue, fire officer and driver, and much more. Training can be conducted at their facility or they can come to you. For more information, visit them at www.icft.academy or call them at 305-450-4530. Responder Training. RTE is the leading company in delivering propane training along with emergency response equipment. Responder Training has many propane flaring kits, water injection kits, accessories, and replacement parts available. They also sell the only commercially available 1-inch propane flare kit, appropriately named the Dragon Slayer, because size does matter. Contact our good friend, owner-instructor Ron Huffman for more information. You can reach him at 765-524-4848. You can email Ron at respondertraining.rdh.gmail.com or peruse his website at respondertraining.com. If you would like to sponsor the show and help keep live hazmat conversation coming in the future and help send at least one lucky participant to a national level hazmat conference, send an email to bob@thehazmatguys.com and he'll send you the information. Thanks. Now on with the show. Let's look at the sponsors for tonight.
And I just want to say I'm probably making a couple of our friends in the New England area mad by wearing this tonight, but The Sox are up on the Yankees 2-0 already in the wild card. I had to give the team a little pump. So we'll see what happens. Maybe this will kill the rest of the season. Maybe it'll help them. Who knows?
That's the game with the stick and the ball,
somebody's
right?
saying that we have no audio. Thank you. You're the best. That's our producer. He is in the background, and he is amazing. So please, no sound. We got it. We fixed it. I think we fixed it. Somebody give us, you're good now.
Okay, sounds
excellent.
Good. Awesome.
Got it. So we just had like probably the funniest joke we ever told online, and you guys missed it, so sucks for you. So what were we talking about?
We're talking about basements in Florida. You guys were in suntan lotion so you don't get your fair skin burned.
California. Yeah, we're talking about California. Me and Mike are down in California. We're hanging out in lovely downtown Stockton for a couple of days, and it is just honestly beautiful area. So if you're looking for houses, I have a couple to sell that I picked up on a steal, and I will pass along that savings to you, my good friends.
Was it right after their fire?
No, we literally, it's a tent. We literally picked it up and stole it.
It's a fire sale. It's the anus of CA. Yes. Well, maybe. Depends on your definition of anus.
No.
Yes, I don't.
Bakersfield. Bakersfield was the anus. The most anus place I've been to so far was Bakersfield.
We'll have an open poll on that. We'll throw that on the group.
And that's our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, building up friends. So what we were building tonight's show about was a picture that surfaced on the internet, right? And it was an interesting idea about, you know what? It lacked context. Bob, why don't you take us through the picture itself?
So I think we're going to be able to pop it up, maybe.
It's on. It's on right now.
It's on. Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. So there was a picture that was posted in social media, and yeah, Travis, I wore it for you. But at any rate, but there was this picture that popped up, and there were some misconceptions as to the covering of the SCBA, because the SCBA bottle had a cover on it, and it had hazmat on there. And there was a lot. I got some private text messages and stuff like that, and somebody said, "Is this an actual NFPA certified hazmat type, whatever?" And actually, what it was, and you see them if you go to any of the websites, the company websites, they'll say RIT, they'll say safety, they'll say, in this particular instance, hazmat. So we just kind of wanted to throw it out there that based on the information we have, that was not a hazmat covering type.
It wasn't part of an ensemble.
Exactly.
Supported by NFPA.
I couldn't think of the word. Ensemble. But it was something that covered up. So we just want to kind of clarify that. And a lot of teams are doing that. So if that's what you have to do for identification or whatever your gig is, that's fine. We just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
So yeah, that covering provides in no way, shape, or form protection to the SCBA, to the bottle. It doesn't enhance anything. It's literally just like a decorative hat.
Right, exactly. I guess.
It's kind of like, that macrame thing that your grandma puts on the tissues in the bathroom. Makes it look pretty.
Yes.
It's right? Knitting.
There's nothing to do with the operation. Yeah, I've seen these things out there, and they do them in colors and different wording. I
think he froze.
Did he freeze? Am I frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay, yeah, because we're running up the same internet.
Is it me?
No, you're back.
Yeah, it's you.
What did I say up to?
We don't know.
We were talking about crocheting.
Did I say how much I hate everybody?
You're talking about it was last I heard was tissue box.
Oh, really? Oh my God, that's like 3 minutes ago. Hazmat doily. Yes,
I love
that
it.
is exactly what it is. It's kind of like a condom when you're lying in bed by yourself. Yes, that is also true. It's
Love it.
I've seen them where they're engine 9 or this department or coloring wise. It's more of like for the people in the fire department, it's like a front piece. It tells them where you're from and what you're doing. So this is like a back marking of that same thing. I don't think it really does anything hazmat wise. In fact, I'm pretty sure it does nothing hazmat wise to change your level of PPE or anything other than making you look pretty badass for the Insta snaps and the Tic Tacs that people are shooting of you.
I like it. Oh, I got it. HMG. Hazmat guys. You guys
A
should do it.
doily. A hazmat doily. That is so funny.
Yeah.
I'm remembering
Next
that.
week you'll be able to pick up your Hazmat Guys
That
SCBA
guy's
covers
SCBA
at
cover.
thehazmatguys.com.
I'm telling you.
Dude,
Home run.
I know we never talked about it, but like we had a whole bunch of gag products when we first started the podcast as gags. We had this might be tasteless, but we had the Hazmat Guys branded exit bags for your chemical suicide needs. And then we also had a whole series of decon soaps that smelled like musty hay and garlic and geraniums,
Bitter almonds.
bitter almonds, and all kinds of things. And we never put the production with it, but you can expect our stupid things to come out. But yeah, yeah. But you know what? Like, all right, so these add-ons, even you know what the surprising thing is in the photo of this thing is that it's on underneath the strap, right? So it was put on the cylinder before implementing it, which is a little weird because if I'm at a scene and I'm designated a certain position, it would be booted on top of the strap. This was determined prior to installing that cylinder, which is super weird because I'm like, when I go to a scene and we have something going on, and I'm going to be going downrange or maybe not, I'm saying, okay, you're the supervisor, you're the tech rep or the science or the resource guy, whatever the hell it is. You're going to do X, Y, Z. That's when you pop on this boot to say what your job is. This is kind of like the hazmat version of a vest. And so I'm confused why it's underneath the strap. Maybe it's me. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good point. I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing either. I find the whole thing to be rather useless.
So the majority of the conversation that came about online went about, does this conform to a specific NFPA guideline or not? And there was confusion with that whole thing. And I think if you look back through the months and months, if not years and years, I know, and I know Mike has been a little bit reluctant to push our podcast, but we just did a 3-part series with Dr. Christina Baxter, who is usually in the crowd here, and she is not. But we will make her sorry for that. But she is usually in the crowd, and she did a exquisite job. There is so much information. I will say this: we've got dozens. I'm going to say probably more than 50 emails, and it's only been out for maybe 1.5 weeks, maybe 2 weeks of it being out. and there's one more week to come out, is that people have been like, dude, that just broke down the guidelines of what it is to get into PPE to a point where I understand it. Now, you can say it from the audio version, but when you can see the slide she's saying, which is only available for you premium members, that is where the bomb drops. And that's where you can bring something back to your fire department and say, holy crap, that makes so much more sense for us monetarily, or, in your PPE idea. What is your PPE standard? She delineates out how you figure that out. That's sick.
Well, what's really amazing is when you sit and you listen to her go through all the PPE stuff, right? You had 1991, 92, 94, and then she starts to go through all the different classes of the 1994, and the newest one, the 95, that they're adding to, as well as the whole concept of like, oh, bunker gear is not really great for certain situations, and how they're looking at the European guidelines for PPE clothing for certain things, and the brush fire standards, and all the stuff that they put together. You really realize that like we have a tremendous hole and gap in our PPE selection if you are totally negating a 1994 suit in your arsenal. You have a tremendous hole in your PPE selection, and I would venture to say they're great suits.
Yeah.
They're great. The 1994 standard is a phenomenal standard, and there's 5 different classes, and she goes through them all. Well, they're like missing 4. It's like 1, 2, 3, 5, right? There was something weird about that. I remember asking her about, but like literally, I honestly feel like over the course of the next 10 years, most of our stuff are going to be done in some kind of a 1994 class.
Yep.
Well, I think a lot of teams are using their RIT team wearing that type of outfit instead of level A guys going down level A and then having 2 backed up and same thing, or level B and they're backed up in level B. A lot of people are going to the 94s for that.
Well, the 94 is typically held as the mission specific suit for getting people, moving bodies. And she makes a very compelling thing. Go ahead. I
was going to say, I think that's not our fault, like the hazmat guys, but I think one of the largest fire departments in the country adopted the 1994 suit specifically as mission specific operations for one specific task. And I think that clouded, right. I think it clouded the capability of the 94 suit, all the different classes of the 94 suit throughout the country, because they were like, oh yeah, but they're just using it for that. I mean, we don't have that kind of potential. Like we're just not even, we're perfectly happy with our 92, 91 suits. And I think it really did a great disservice to the functionality of the 94 suit by turning to that extremely large fire department and going, well, that's all they use it for.
Yeah.
Right. She does a great job of, can you use, is a 1994 suit a 1991 suit? And the answer, here's the sales pitch, is it the same thing? No. No, it's not the same thing.
Well, yeah,
it's
so
not.
It depends, right? So
on a ton of things.
From an NFPA standard, it's not. It is not a 91 suit. But what she was saying was from an OSHA vapor tight to the skin ensemble, it is a level A suit. So OSHA and EPA are going to turn around and go, yeah, that's a level A. And NFPA doesn't, because NFPA doesn't recognize A, B, and C. They have 1991, 92, and 94.
Right. Right. And it comes down to like, well, and as people, you'll hear this all the time. Well, it would be, but the SCBA is on the outside. Well, then explain to me the difference between an encapsulated B and a hooded B. Oh, well, let's not dive into this discussion yet. We'll come back to this later. No, I'm here now. I want to hear about this right now. So she really strips the nuance away from the whole state. She really kind of strips it down. It's really her. The visuals are good. Her slides are really good because she goes into like, if you're in the puddle, if you're out of the puddle, if you're in the vicinity of the puddle, if you're out of the vicinity of the puddle, like that's where I'm like, I can make a grid out of this and really kind of define what suit. It becomes a if-then statement based upon her slides that she showed in those podcasts.
Right, because it really breaks down
thing?
to.
That was in the premium.
Yeah, the slides during the pod. Yeah, you got to be in the premium to see the videos of it. But it really comes down to understanding what each one of the classes are designed to come in contact with, right? What if you have a mission? What in your mission do you expect to come in contact with? What levels of contamination? What levels of product? Whether it's like parts per million or milligrams per meter cubed, what those levels are expected to be for the task that you're performing. And then you pick your 1, 2, 3, 5, within that. So that's where she was really able to break it down.
Right. That's where we get the whole mission specific. My mission is to grab people. Therefore, I don't expect to be in that ultra high hazard for a long duration of time.
Right. I'm not turning a valve. I'm just going and grabbing somebody.
Right. If you're turning valves, you're going to be there for a long time, and you're expected to be in complete envelopment of that problem. Well, then let your soul be your guide. But at the same time, I'll tell the story because it bears understanding. Is that I had a guy, good friend. He's a great guy. And he said, Bobby, can we take a 1994 suit, class 1, and use it for a chlorine release? We're going up there to mitigate. And he said, and I'm going to quote these words, can we get away with it? And I said, no, can't get away with it. Because if we select it for that specific purpose, and I know I'm going to be in pure product, then I can't get away with it. Because if somebody goes down and they go, you picked a 94 type 1 suit, which is between us girls, is a fantastic suit. But you didn't go in a 91 suit, which is specifically designed for that. And they go, why did you go into that? And you go, because I can get away with it. You're done. You're getting hooked up.
Right.
You're fired. You're going to jail. I don't know what the hell's going on with you, but you're not going good. And so
but
you put on the proper PPE for the specific mission you're in.
But at the same time, if you turn around and you're able to say, all right, yeah, but I put on that class 1, and that class 1 can withstand X, Y, and Z, which is what I expected to be in. And my SCBA has been rated, because it's a CBRNE rating, has been rated to certain chemicals X, Y, and Z. And I was expected to perform a mission in which X, Y would not exceed X, Y, and Z contamination. No, what would be the word? Levels.
Loading.
Okay. Then I could turn around and I could justify that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. To turn around and be like, I get away with it. No. There's no getting away with it. You either know what you're going to be going into,
right,
or you don't. And there is no doubt about it that 1991 suit is going to provide a completely different standard of protection overall versus the 94.
Yeah, I don't like the term "get
So-
away with it." I was talking to somebody
Yeah,
tonight about just training, not to go down another rabbit hole, but about training, and they were saying how they, they're being told, well, OSHA only requires 40 hours to be a hazmat technician, and I'm like, bro, that's like chemistry alone is, way more than
Yeah.
that. So I don't know.
Well,
The departments,
because
unfortunately, are out there that say, hey, I just want to do the minimum. Well, what we can, as you said, get away with.
right.
Well,
Well, when it comes to, yeah, I'll push back on people with that too, because they forget to realize that OSHA is designed for both industry and first responders, and industry really first is what OSHA is there for. So, if you're a manufacturer and you've got one chemical, two chemicals that you're dealing with, or one process that you're going through, and you want to give a 40-hour hazmat technician course, then as the employer or as the employer, I am training my person to a certain level, and they don't need to know much beyond that because their work environment doesn't dictate a 140-hour course, a 500-hour course. They can get away with a 40-hour hazmat technician course because they are working with one chemical, two chemicals, one thing. Maybe they need to learn pipe patching, and that's pretty much it, right? So that's the minimum. But as an employee, as an employer, you have an obligation to make sure that your employee, whether it's industry or fire department, is trained to whatever task you may ask of them.
Right.
So if you're a fire department, we're going to freaking ask a lot of you. So we're going to train you for a lot of different stuff. And that course needs to reflect what the expected task is going to be.
And
so that's where the whole, like, OSHA just says 40 hours. It's like, all right, that's great. But in 40 hours, I can't teach you everything you need to know to do the task at hand. And that's going to land on the employer's responsibility for not having properly trained their employee at that task. Because you have to have the equipment, you have to have the knowledge, and you have to have the understanding to be able to operate in any situation that you are expected to be able to operate in.
Right. Very true.
we had a couple of good comments in here. I'll throw Rob Horrigan from Canada.
He's from Canada. I don't know how the hell he got out of there.
Terrible accent. Sorry. Apparently good beyond the recommendation of the 5-wash limit. From what I heard from a department that uses them a lot. So if we're talking about pure suits, I will say, yeah, they might be certified X, Y, Z. I know Dr. Baxter is going to have a little more to say about this, and I see that she is now part of the conversation. But the thing is that if anybody thinks that the chemical they're going in on is not becoming part of the matrix of the suit, you are a fool. Everything is coming through. That's called permeation. It's called whatever the hell. It comes through it. So let's say I go to an oxidizer this week, and next week I go to a hydrocarbon next week. I'm not Explosion Man now. I don't want to say it like that, but I am. Fuck.
Well, and a lot of the washing and reusing is really like, hey, all right, in the lower end where you don't expect to become contaminated with a product like decon or some kind of a support, the washing is good. But if you get flooded with product, then as far as I can tell, there are plenty of situations where it's like, no, that now just became a disposable suit.
Right. And if you're going to wash something and it's decon or whatever it is, dedicate it to training. If don't unless you need to get rid of it, use it as a training suit when you bring something new online. A lot of people, some
And
departments
there
have the
is-
affordability to throw stuff away. Some don't. You know, I mean,
there is a difference between multi-wear versus multi-use.
Right.
right.
Subtle, but the definition is big.
Yeah, it's the difference between being contaminated and not putting it on and not doing anything. Yeah, suit's 100% reusable.
You know, it's the definition of that's a backup team getting into suit but never entering versus backup team getting in suit and going down range.
Right.
So there is that's a really good point, is that we rewash the backup teams if there is entry. Just checking other things. Honestly, I'm sorry. Just checking things.
That's okay, Rob. My wife tells me the same thing.
I'm reading all the comments. Yeah. So, guys, you know what? It would probably be easiest is if you just check episodes 306, 307, and 308 of our podcast. You will get this information in short form, and right from the source, Dr. Christina Baxter, who is the chairman of NFPA 1991, 92, 94, and which is again consolidated to 1991, which is a big deal. That is a huge deal. And she really lays this out and does a great job. But she goes through the visualization of if you're in the puddle or if you're not in the puddle or if you're in the vicinity, what PPE you need to do. So, guys, I'm not a one to to push our product, but by all means, check it out on the hazmatguys.com and get in there and check it out. Consolidated? What did I say? Did I say the wrong thing?
I don't see that. I think it's probably when you were streaming.
There's a lot of conversation. I will say that.
I will say though, before we get close to wrapping it up, it was good to see everybody in Massachusetts and Minneapolis for Cold Zone, because it's been a while since the three of us guys were all together, and Jay-Z was with us, and it was good getting the band back together in person at these conferences. And speaking of which, if anybody wants to come to sunny Florida in January, I think it's the third week. Go to Florida Hazmat Symposium, Dates.com maybe, and come check it out. Get out of the snow. Come to Florida in January.
So, with that all being said, I hope you guys got something out of this one. Check out Cold Zone. Cold Zone is a great conference. If you don't know about Cold Zone, Kent Worry said Cold Zone. Cold Zone is up in Minneapolis?
Minneapolis.
It's Minneapolis, and it just happened about 2 weeks ago. Check out that place. It's a really cool place. We've been also in all types of different places, but check that place out. And I think that'll do it.
I think that's a wrap.
All right. Well, guys, go on and have your fun. We'll see you soon.